Calaroga Shark Media.
Thank you, Marc Maron, for killing off what is traditionally a slow news week. Hello, I'm Johnny Mac with your daily comedy news. Marc Maron went on Pod Save America, and he took some shots at Bill Maher. Maron said, "I can't do it. I always had a problem with his tone. Like I feel with Bill, and there's this, and it happens with some other boomers, there's this desperate chasing of relevance that changes somebody's mind in terms of how they approach what they do, and it also kind of makes the whole undertaking feel desperate. Outside of his ideas, primarily, I think wokeness, I don't know, it's just not for me." Maron said Maher has good joke writers who know how to write for his tone. I can't see past the desperation and what he's willing to do to stay in the conversation. On Real Time on Friday, Bill Maher was concerned about the militarization of U.S. cities. Bill Maher said of the president, he's creating an army in the nation's capital. I just think the presence now of this army in Washington is going to have its toll taken when the next election comes around. Jim Jefferies was on Theo Vaughn's podcast and has accused the Australian government of a cover-up involving the death of Jim's nephew during a defense training exercise. In July of 2023, Lieutenant Max Nugent and 3 fellow soldiers died when a helicopter crashed into the water. Jeffrey said within a matter of a couple of weeks after the crash, Australia decommissioned the helicopters, took them apart and buried them in the desert. Ukraine said, "We'll take them," and the Australians went, No, don't worry about that. There was an inquiry. Jim said the test pilots stood up and said the helmets they were wearing were defective and would end in industrial manslaughter. It's like watching A Few Good Men, like talking about the military and the government trying to cover its ass. Other countries didn't go out on patrol that day. They said the weather was too bad, the soldiers were too tired. One of the soldiers said they were so tired they couldn't fly the aircraft, and then my nephew stepped in. Commonwealth prosecutors had said charges wouldn't be laid against the Defense Department over the deaths. The ruling that the Defense Force couldn't be prosecuted came just 5 days before a 2-year statute of limitations to fill a civil suit was due to expire. Jeffrey said, "Who has 5 effing days to get a lawyer? They dragged it out on purpose. This was a war game. There were things that weren't followed. There's literally helicopters that have been buried. If you want to find an Australian Taipan effing helicopter, you need a treasure map." An aviation safety investigation found human error to blame. That investigation said the cause of the crash was spatial disorientation, described as when a pilot is unaware of their actual orientation in relation to the Earth's surface and the surrounding environment. Jeffrey said of his nephew, "We were proud of him. When Australia goes to war, that's the first bloke we send in. We send in the planes and the helicopters. That's the first bit of assistance." Jim also said Australia doesn't get enough credit for being one of the few allied nations that has stood by the U.S. for many years. Jeffrey said, "It's like Trump slapping tariffs on Australia. I'm a bit like, what the F are you doing there, man? We're one of you guys. We buy 3 times more stuff from you than you buy from us." The big example they gave was you guys buy $26 billion worth of Australian beef and we buy no beef from you. And it's like, well, why would we? What do you really buy from us? You buy sheepskin, red wine, beef, and gold. It's not like we're manufacturing Happy Meal toys in Australian factories and like those jobs could go to Americans. You can hear Jim Jefferies on Theo Vaughn's podcast. Matt Rife has commented on this whole Sydney Sweeney thing. You may recall Sydney Sweeney appeared in an ad for jeans. Rife said, "I keep seeing people mad at Sydney Sweeney for nothing." He dragged out the nothing in his tweet. "She's learning that the internet is full of absolute garbage losers who will twist anything you say into a misinterpretation. People are awful." You know who's awful is the worst person who ever lived, that guy Jay Leno. Boy, people hate that guy. He was on Mark Summers Unwraps and explained, "I got the Tonight Show because there was another manager that handled everybody that guest hosted. I think it was Bernie Brillstein. I think he had David Brenner and all the guys, Garrett Shandling, everybody. And he calls me and he says, we're going to go in as a team because each of us was guest hosting. And we're going to get $25,000 a night to host. Jay opted not to take part in it." Jay recalled the story. "I said, Bernie, I'm doing it for $512 a night, which is scale. I mean, I appreciate it, but I'm happy doing it for $512. Leno explained his logic. "I knew Johnny owned the show, and at the end of the month, he'd say, what did we spend on guest hosts? $280,000, and when Leno hosted, $2,500. Why don't we go with Leno? They're all getting the same ratings." I mean, it seemed like common sense to me. Jay first guest hosted in 1986. A year later was named a permanent guest host, so I guess his gambit worked. Jay took over for Carson in 1992, which feels like yesterday to me. Jay said he enjoyed guest hosting for Carson. "I enjoyed doing it. Any job I would do for free. I don't argue about money. The sad reality is the worst comedian in America makes more than the best teacher. Don't worry about it. If you're any good, you'll do okay." Boy, that Jay Leno was something. He was up in Elmira on Friday night, and he was playing at the Clemens Center. And listen to the gall on this guy. This is what he said about the Clemens Center. It's fun. It's a great old theater. I love these 1925 old vaudeville houses. So many of them got torn down, but so many are preserved like this one. It's really terrific. It's really fun. It makes it kind of interesting and adds a subtle antiquity to it. Boy, the nerve of that guy.
Gossip Corner, whispers in the street. Gossip Corner, probably about Pete. Gossip Corner, where the rumors meet. With Johnny Mac, it's always a treat. Gossip Corner, whispers in the street. Gossip Corner, probably about Pete. Gossip Corner, where the rumors meet. With Johnny Mac, it's always a treat.
Yes, Gossip Corner is indeed about Pete. Pete apparently having trouble selling his condo, according to SI Live. The condo, purchased by Pete Davidson in 2021, originally for $1.2 million, was last on the market for $1.07 million, according to the U.S. Sun. The U.S. Sun are the folks that were starting the Howard Stern rumors recently. The condo, 1,592 square feet. Pete was selling it because he wanted to move to Brooklyn. A source with ties to Pete Davidson tells the Sun he's blown through a ton of money and it isn't coming like it used to. Pete has spent a lot of money on this place, renovating it over the years and making it perfect, and it's been a big drain. We're told Pete has the condo, he bought his mother a place, he also rents a Brooklyn brownstone, owns a house in upstate New York, and then there's the whole ferry thing. A real estate listing tells us the condo has a sleek, modern, open concept, featuring enormous windows, which provide natural lighting from dawn till dusk, 2 bedrooms, 3 bath, a bright custom kitchen that opens to a spacious family room, optimal for entertaining. It also has panoramic views of New York Harbor and the Manhattan skyline. The master bedroom suite has a private bathroom with a custom shower and a highly coveted glamorous walk-in closet. Massive glass doors lead to an exclusive terrace on the 7th floor, which provides those views of the city skyline. Pete Davidson's condo is also pet-friendly, has 24-hour security, a clubhouse, a health club, a tennis club, an indoor playroom, and an outdoor playground. If you're in the market for a place on Staten Island, contact Pete Davidson. In the feed, you'll find a new episode of DCN8. So what is that? I wanted to do something extra for the paid subscribers, but I also didn't want to siphon off comedy stories because I didn't think that would be cool. So DCN8 is Johnny Mac Talks About Other Stuff. And this week, I'm going to tell you how much I like the show, The Lazarus Project on Netflix, and how the latest Mission Impossible movie is unwatchable. DCN8. So what do? If you're on Apple Podcasts, click the banner that says Uninterrupted Listening. You click that, you become a premium subscriber to the feed. You'll get daily comedy news without commercials, and you'll get access to the other shows of the network, including 5 Good News Stories, which I host also without commercials, and that's just $5 a month. All the shows come with the same $5, and you'll get that new episode of DCN8. Rainn Wilson was at Fan Expo in Chicago over the weekend. I thought this was funny. He said he's not very much like Dwight, although there's some mannerisms, because I played him for over 200 episodes over 9 years. But one thing that's great, and maybe notice this, is that Dwight is a little bit of a jerky face, and Rainn is a little bit of a jerky face. Having played Dwight allows me to be a jerky face to people, and people laugh. I can be kind of an a-hole, and people are like, isn't that charming? So it's one of the benefits of playing like Dwight. Rainn Wilson says, I talked to Jenna Fisher, who plays Pam. She can't tell any really edgy jokes because people are like, Pam would never say that. So Jenna has to kind of keep her dark, raunchy sense of humor in check because people really recoil. From Deadline, amid monster viewership, Gilmore 2, that's on you people. I did everything I could to stop that, and you guys just blew the stop sign and didn't care and watched that thing. Happy Gilmore 2 had Netflix's biggest U.S. opening weekend ever. Well, now, because of people like you, Adam Sandler's Happy Madison Productions are making even more movies. They're developing the novel Dad Camp. In the novel Dad Camp, we follow John, a devoted father, hey, I could play that, who finds his once-clone bond with his daughter Avery unraveling as she enters her preteen years. I wouldn't be good at that. Desperate to reconnect before she starts middle school, he signs them up for a week-long father-daughter retreat at a rundown summer camp where he's forced to confront both his fears of losing her and the evolving nature of their relationship. Here's my prediction. Adam Sandler will play John, and whichever Sandler daughter is the younger one will play the aged-up version of the daughter that's a preteen in the novel. That's my prediction there. But that would probably be more dramatic. So maybe we would get good Adam Sandler. Who knows? In other development news, also from Deadline, Paramount has acquired The Island, described as an R-rated comedy based on an idea from Trevor Noah. The Island tells the story of two polar opposites. One, a successful alpha businesswoman, and the other, a hopelessly dedicated male high school teacher. They're the sole survivors of a plane crash on a deserted island, and have to rely on each other to stay alive. Sources say Trevor Noah was inspired by COVID for this idea. Congratulations to Sam Nicoresti. Sam is the winner of the Edinburgh's Best Show at the Fringe. Sam's show Baby Doomer is based around a humiliating experience in a department store changing room. Out today to hear Moore's special Aging Out. It'll be on album form wherever you listen to comedy things in this self-roasting, brutally honest hour. To hear Moore takes his audience on a wild ride through topics like the zombie apocalypse, fancy toilets, naps, and aging. Out today on the 800-Pound Gorilla, Chelsea Lynn's Trailer Trash Tammy's Pontoon Party. That is a wonderful title. And we'll wrap up today on a very sad note. Comedian Reggie Carroll was shot dead in Mississippi. Police say they got a call about a shooting. When officers arrived, they found Reggie suffering from gunshot wounds. Police and first responders started performing life-saving techniques. Reggie did not survive the injuries. South Haven police have a suspect in custody who has been charged with murder in Reggie's shooting death. One of Reggie's colleagues, Monique, said she had nothing but good times with Reggie, especially when they were on comedy tours together. Reggie Carroll was 52, and that's your comedy news for today.